Reading through the Bible in a year, September 15th, 2 Samuel chapter 11, 2 Corinthians chapter 4, Ezekiel 18, and Psalms 62 through 63. Now it happened in the spring, at the time when kings go out to battle, that David sent Joab and his servants with him and all Israel, and they destroyed the sons of Ammon and besieged Rabbah. But David, the king, stayed at Jerusalem. Now, when evening came, David arose from his bed and walked around on the roof of the king's house. And from the roof he saw a woman bathing, and the woman was very beautiful in appearance. So David sent and inquired about the woman. And one said, "Is this not Bathsheba, daughter of Eliam, the wife of Uriah the Hittite?" This is letting him know, "You know very well who she is." Then David sent messengers, and he took her, and she came to him. And he lay with her. And when she had purified herself from her uncleanness, she returned to her house. And the woman became pregnant. And she sent and told David, and said, "I am pregnant." Then David sent to Joab, saying, "Send me Uriah the Hittite." So this is now multiple people that he's engaged in this sin. So Joab sent Uriah to David. No, Joab had no idea what was going on, at least not yet. When Uriah came to him, David asked concerning the state of Joab, and the state of the people, and the state of the war. Then David said to Uriah, "Go down to your house and wash your feet." And Uriah went out of the king's house, and a present from the king went out after him. But Uriah laid down at the door of the king's house with all the servants of his lord, and he did not go down to his own house. Then they told David, saying, "Uriah did not go down to his house." And David said to Uriah, "Have you not come from a journey? Will you not go down to your house?" And Uriah said to David, The ark and Israel and Judah are staying in booths, or tents, or tabernacles. And my lord Joab and the servants of my lord are camping in the open fields. Shall I then go to my house to eat and drink and to lie with my wife? By your life and the life of your soul, I will not do this thing." Then David said to Uriah, "Stay here today also, and tomorrow I will send you out." So Uriah remained in Jerusalem that day and the next. Now David called him, and he ate and drank before him, and made him drunk. And in the evening he went out to lie on his bed with his lord's servants, but he did not go down to his house. Now it happened in the morning that David wrote a letter to Joab. I want to make sure we don't lose our notes here. There we go. Now it happened in the morning that David wrote a letter to Joab and sent it by the hand of Uriah. And he had written in the letter, saying, "Place Uriah in the front line of the fiercest battle, and withdraw from him, so that he may be struck down and die." Now again, Joab has no idea what's happening, but this is a command of the king to execute this man by the hand of Uriah. Functionally, not Uriah, but by the hand of Joab. Functionally, not entirely, because he's going to let the enemy kill him. So David won't feel any guilt anymore, because he won't be found out. But he's still causing Uriah to fall by the hands of this enemy. And when you're in battle, you depend on those who are with you in battle to protect you and to take care of you, just as you've taken care of them numerous times. Remember, this is a guy who was with David in the wilderness when he was hiding from Saul and from all of Saul's army. He'd been with him from the beginning. Continuing on. So it was that Joab kept watch on the city, that he put Uriah at the place where he knew there were valiant men. And the men of the city went out and fought against Joab, and some of the people among David's servants fell and died. And Uriah the Hittite also died. Then Joab sent and told David all the events of the war. And he commanded the messenger, saying, "When you have finished telling all the events of the war to the king, And if he happens to, and the king's wrath rises, and he says to you, why did you approach the city to fight? Did you not know that they would shoot down from the wall? Who struck down Abimelech, the son of Jerubasheth? Did not a woman cast an upper millstone on him from the wall so that he died at Thebez? Why did you approach the wall? Then you shall say, your servant Uriah, the Hittite, is dead also. So the messenger went and came and told David all that Joab had sent him to tell. And the messenger said to David, the men prevailed against us and came out against us in the field, but we pressed them as far as the entrance of the gate. And the archers shot at your servants from the wall. So some of the king's servants died, and your servant Uriah the Hittite also died. Then David said to the messenger, thus you shall say to Joab, do not let this thing be evil in your sight. For the sword devours one as well as another. Make your battle against the city stronger, and tear it down, and so strengthen him. Then the wife of Uriah heard that Uriah, her husband, had died, so she lamented over her husband. Then the time of mourning passed by, and David sent and gathered her to his house, and she became his wife. Then she bore him a son. But the thing that David had done was evil in the sight of Yahweh. In the Hebrew, Let's go ahead and move on now to 2 Corinthians chapter 4. Therefore, Paul continues, since we have this ministry, as we received mercy, we do not lose heart, but have renounced the hidden things of shame, not walking in craftiness or adulterating the word of God, but by the manifestation of truth, commending ourselves to every man's conscience in the sight of God. And if our gospel is veiled, it is veiled to those who are perishing, in whose case the God of this age has blinded the minds of the unbelieving, so that they might not see the light of the gospel, of the glory of Christ, who is the image of God. For we do not preach ourselves, but Jesus Christ as Lord, and ourselves as your slaves for the sake of Jesus. For God, who said, light shall shine out of darkness, is the one who has shone in our hearts to give the light of the knowledge of the glory of God in the face of Christ. But we have this treasure in earthen vessels. What does he mean, earthen vessels? Us. In Genesis chapters 2 and 3, we read about the creation of man, and rather chapters 1 and 2. And as we read through those accounts, what's man made out of? Well, man's made out of the same thing that everyone else is made out of. Dust of the earth, clay. So we are functionally vessels of earth, or clay pots. Continuing on, but we have this treasure in earthen vessels, so that the surpassing greatness of the power will be of God, and not from ourselves. In every way afflicted, but not crushed, perplexed, but not despairing, persecuted, but not forsaken, struck down, but not destroyed, always carrying about in the body the dying of Jesus, so that the life of Jesus may also be manifested in our body. For we who live are constantly being delivered over to death for Jesus' sake, so that the life of Jesus may also be manifested in our mortal flesh. So death works in us, but life in you. But having the same spirit of faith, according to what is written, I believed and therefore I spoke, we also believe, therefore we also speak, knowing that he who has raised the Lord Jesus will raise us also with Jesus, and will present us with you. For all things are for your sakes, so that the grace which is spreading to more and more people may cause the giving of thanks to abound to the glory of God. Therefore, we do not lose heart, but though our outer man The old man, that who we were, is decaying, yet our inner man is being renewed day by day. For our momentary, light affliction, which again remember is torture and imprisonment, in many cases death, is working out for us an eternal weight of glory far beyond all comprehension, rather all comparison. While we look not at the things which are seen, but at the things which are not seen. For the things which are not, for the things which are seen are temporal, meaning of this realm, bound in time, but the things which are not seen are eternal. Bringing up the rest of the notes for you. There we go. Let's move on to Ezekiel 18. Then the word of Yahweh came to me, saying, "What do you mean by using this proverb concerning the land of Israel, saying, the fathers eat sour grapes, but the children's teeth are set on edge? As I live, declares Lord Yahweh, you are surely not going to use this proverb in Israel anymore. Behold, all souls are mine. The soul of the Father, as well as the soul of the Son, is mine, and the soul who sins will die. But if a man is righteous and does justice and righteousness, and does not eat at the mountain shrines, or lift up his eyes to the idols of the house of Israel, or defile his neighbor's wife, or approach a woman during her menstrual period, if a man does not mistreat anyone, but returns to the debtor his pledge, does not commit robbery, but gives his bread to the hungry, and covers the naked with clothing, if he does not lend money on interest or take increase, if he turns his hand from injustice and does true justice between man and man, if he walks in my statutes and my judgments and is careful to do the truth, he is righteous and will surely live, declares Lord Yahweh. Then he may have a violent son who sheds blood and who does any of these things to a brother, though he himself did not do any of these things. That is, he even eats at the mountain shrines and defiles his neighbor's wife. He mistreats the afflicted and needy, commits robbery, does not return a pledge, but lifts up his eyes to the idols and does abominations. He lends money on interest and takes increase. Will he live? He will not live. He has done all these abominations. He will surely be put to death. His blood will be on himself. Now behold, he has a son who has seen all of his father's sins which he has done. And he saw this, but did not do likewise. He does not eat at the mountain shrines, or lift up his eyes to the idols of the house of Israel, or defile his neighbor's wife, or mistreat anyone, or retain a pledge, or commit robbery. But he gives bread to the hungry, and covers the naked with clothing. He turns his hand away from the afflicted, and does not take interest or increase, but does my judgments, and walks in my statutes. He will not die for his father's iniquity. He will surely live. As for his father, because he practiced extortion, robbed his brother, and did what was not good among his people, behold, he will die for his iniquity. Yet you say, why should the son not bear the punishment of the father's iniquity? But the son has done justice and righteousness, and kept all my statutes and done them. He shall surely live. The soul who sins shall die. The son will not bear the iniquity of the father, nor will the father bear the iniquity of the son. But the righteousness of the righteous will be upon himself, and the wickedness of the wicked will be upon himself. But if the wicked man turns from all his sins which he has done, and keeps all my statutes, and does justice and righteousness, he shall surely live. He shall not die. All his transgressions which he has done will not be remembered against him, because of his righteousness which he has done. He will live. Do I have any pleasure in the death of the wicked? declares the Lord Yahweh. Is it not that he should turn from his ways and live? But when a righteous man turns away from his righteousness, does injustice, and does according to all the abominations that a wicked man does, will he live? All his righteous deeds which he has done will not be remembered, for his unfaithfulness which he has committed, and his sin which he has committed. For them he will die. Yet you say, well, the way of the Lord is not right. Hear now, O house of Israel, is my way not right? Is it not your ways that are not right? When a righteous man turns away from his righteousness, does injustice, and dies because of it, for his injustice which he has done, he will die. Again, when a wicked man turns away from his wickedness which he has done, and does justice and righteousness, he will preserve his life. Again, he considered and turned away from all his transgressions which he had done. He shall surely live, he shall not die. But the house of Israel says, the way of the Lord is not right. Are my ways not right, O house of Israel? Is it not your ways that are not right? Therefore I will judge you. O house of Israel, each according to his way, declares Lord Yahweh. Turn back and turn away from all your transgressions, so that iniquity may not become a stumbling block to you. Cast away from yourselves all your transgressions, which you have committed, and make yourselves a new heart and a new spirit. Now, why will you die, O house of Israel? For I have no pleasure in the death of anyone who dies, declares Lord Yahweh. Therefore, turn back and live. Let's close today in Psalms 62 through 63. Surely my soul waits in silence for God. From him is my salvation. Surely he is my rock and my salvation, my stronghold. I shall not be greatly shaken. How long will you assail a man, that you may murder him, all of you? Like a leaning wall, like a fence thrust down. Surely they have counseled to thrust him down from his high position. They find pleasure in falsehood. They bless with their mouth, but inwardly they curse. Selah. Surely wait in silence for God, O my soul. For my hope is from him. Surely he is my rock and my salvation, my stronghold. I shall not be shaken. On God, my salvation and my glory rest. The rock of my strength, my refuge is in God. Trust in him at all times, O people. Pour out your heart before him. God is a refuge for us. Selah. Surely men of low degree are merely vanity, and men of rank are a lie. In the balances they go up. They are together lighter than a breath of vanity. Do not trust in oppression, and do not put vain hope in robbery. If riches increase, do not set your heart upon them. Once God has spoken, twice I have heard this, that strength belongs to God, and that to you, O Lord, belongs loving kindness, for you repay a man according to his work. Now, Psalm 63. O God, you are my God. I shall seek you earnestly. My soul thirsts for you, my flesh yearns for you, in a dry and weary land without water. Thus I have beheld you in the sanctuary, to see your power and your glory. Because your loving kindness is better than life, my lips will laud you. Thus I will bless you as long as I live. I will lift up my hands in your name. My soul is satisfied as with fatness and richness, and my mouth offers praises with lips of joyful songs. When I remember you on my bed, I meditate on you in the night watches, for you have been my help. In the shadow of your wings I sing for joy. My soul clings to you. Your right hand upholds me. But those who seek my life to destroy it will go down into the depths of the earth. They will be delivered over to the power of the sword. They will be a portion for foxes. But the king will be glad in God. Everyone who swears by him will boast, for the mouth of those who will speak lies will be closed. That's all for today. That's all the reading, and that's all the notes. God willing, we'll be back tomorrow. Behold, the word of the Lord.